I feel like you're on your own planet. The thought of dying lonely, girl, I really can't stand it. Trying to find the words to express that my love ain't like the rest, but I guess I can't manage. Counting down the breaths till the next time I see you in this life or the next. Don't got karma on my side, but I'm praying for a gift. What a run we made, ain't it?
Yeah, what's
Started
up?
with a pure love,
My
why
name
we
is
had to
Verum.
stain it.
I'm a rapper, musician, producer, I guess social media influencer kind of at this point. I've been rapping for 5 years or so, close to 5 years. And in the last year and a half, I got on TikTok and started blowing up on there and started, extending to all platforms. So here I am.
Yeah, see, all these people in here, they're like saying mad good things about you. I don't know if you're seeing it.
What's
Like,
up, y'all?
I love his music. He needs an award. Of course he does.
My fans go hard, man.
Yeah, I see it. So I have to ask you. So how did you come up with the name Verum?
I actually, honestly, I didn't put in I thought about it for a while because I was making music for probably maybe a year before, I actually gave myself a name. I wasn't releasing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just wanted something that really resonated with what I felt like was the essence of my music. And I wanted my music just to feel authentic and true. So I was just I want something that kind of means true, but I was just I can't just be basic and just have it just be true or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the truth, there were all those names were taken. So I just went with Verum. It's Latin. But it basically means truth.
Okay. I literally had no idea. I'm having a whole little Latin lesson right here. So I was wondered that. And so for me, I think I'm a fan of yours. I think you're such a lyricist and you're a really good storyteller. And I think even now, your album Passing Thoughts is probably one of the best I've heard. And I think it's still slept on.
I appreciate that.
For me, for me, I have ADD, right? So it's hard for me to sit through an hour of anything. But all your songs are just so fluid, and the first song, well, it wasn't even the first song. It was the disclaimer, it's a spoken word.
Yeah.
It's the last thing I write is the first thing you hear, and I'm like, can you talk us through a little bit of your whole Passing Thoughts album? So for people that may not even really know about it.
It started with, I don't have the track list right in front of me, so I don't remember the exact order, but I think track 6 was 10 Toes Down. Okay. And that was the first one I made. I made that before I was even a rapper. I was the very first thing I ever wrote, and I made that song. And then after that, people were I wasn't sure if I was going to keep making music or anything. I was still doing sports at the time. But people were a lot of people close to me that did music or just avid listeners of music, they were you got to keep writing. So I kept writing. And then, I think after that was Art of Peer Pressure Freestyle. I can't remember the exact order of everything, but I just know that at some point I got to the point where I was just okay, I think I'm really making I had plenty of songs that nobody's ever heard, by the way, that are very, very rough concepts, and I went back and listened to them every once in a while, and I'm dang, it's crazy. I was trying a lot of stuff. It's kind of embarrassing. I think at some point I'll post them. I think they're inspirational because a lot of people see me now and they're oh man, it's and then it was not always like that. I had a lot of really, really rough beginning songs where I was just trying to figure stuff out, figure out how to even rap about certain things and convey certain things musically. And then at some point during the making of Passing Thoughts, because I guess I started writing it at the end of 2016, because that was when I wrote 10 Toes Down, and I released it in 2018. So 2017 and then 2018, at some point in there, I started learning a little bit more about production, and then I set up this little home studio thing at my sister's house. And I mean, I was still running track at that time. I actually had just moved to Santa Barbara. I was living in my car. I was writing. I was working at a grocery. I was training in the day, working at a grocery store at night. And then I'd come back to my car and then just like write or mix. And that was like a process. There were some songs on there that I swear I mixed like hundreds of times and it never sounded the way I wanted to. Even looking back at it now, I'd be like, man, like it's funny. Like there's so many things I felt like I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But ultimately, man, I did like the way it felt when I finished it. And then I was sitting there and I just had it all done. And I was just like, I think I just need an intro. So then I wrote disclaimer. And then I just sat with it for a few weeks. I just listening to the whole album like over and over. I was just driving around the city, just listening to it. And then, and then I put it out.
Okay. So to me, it kind of felt like therapy. Like you were literally like just telling like different parts of your story or different parts of like what you've been through. And it just feels like a really good like insight to who you are as a person and kind of like how it was even with 10 Toes Down, like how it was before you were even born. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how it felt to me. So like what made you like want to start rapping?
So I never was like a rapper or musician or anything like that. Well, I guess kind of I played like clarinet in like the band in like middle school.
Clarinet, okay.
yeah.
I ain't gonna come for you. All right.
But then I started. Hey, I was nice on that thing.
Okay.
But then, but then I started doing sports, and so I was just like, why would I be in the band if I could be on the basketball team? Like that's I was like that's an easy decision. And so, but yeah, I was always like an avid music listener and a music fan, and I'm like. I'm from like the hood, so like everybody I know is a rapper or tried to be a rapper or did that like at some point. But that never was me. And I was like 25 and I was just in my apartment in Waco. And man, I was just on YouTube listening to beats and just like I was listening to beats and just chilling, doing something. I don't even know. And then I just heard that beat for 10 Toes Down come on, and all of a sudden I just felt like all these like emotions and feelings coming up, and I just started writing. And I guess a lot had happened in the past year and a half to really push me toward like wanting to express myself more creatively like that. So I guess I was just kind of in the zone where I was ready or receptive toward that, but I just started writing. And then I was like, well, dang, I think I'm writing a rap right now. Like, I like sent it to my sister, who's like, she's like like a rapper, musician, singer, whatever, songwriter, and she was like, you gotta record this. And I was like, all right, so I recorded it, and she was like, you gotta like make a video and put it on like your Facebook, like your social. So I put it on. I did that. I put it on Facebook because I just sat in the car and just like rap, just like did a little video or whatever. And then I put it on Facebook. I got like 10,000 views. And at the time, I was like 10,000 views. Like I'm famous at this point. Like sign me, But yeah, and then after that, I still, like I said, I just didn't know if I was going to keep doing it. But, I was encouraged to keep writing. So I kept writing, and it started to be an act of therapy for me, I'd say, which was good and bad. Which was good because I was able to get a lot of stuff off like my mind and my chest that made some really powerful music. But it's kind of bad because I didn't really know how to do that type of thing on purpose yet. So I would normally only write when I was feeling real, real down. Like if I was going through it, I would just write. Or I would like, if I was going through it, I would maybe get some liquor and drink and then write. And that's not sustainable. Like long term, I don't advise that to people. Like long term as an artist, like you could get some moments in there like that, but you got to figure out how to tap into that a little bit more, like consciously, like at will. And so, even after I dropped Passing Thoughts in like 2018, I wasn't sure if I was going to do music anymore because I just stopped running track, and I was like working at a grocery store. I didn't know what I was doing with my life at all. And then I met Megan, and my whole trajectory for life was changing. And Megan's my girlfriend. Sorry. Sometimes I'm talking to you, Raven, because you know, but and I don't realize I'm not talking to people. But and so 2019, I did no music. Like I wrote occasionally, but I did no music. And then going into 2020, our son was about to be born, and I was just like, I want to do this. I want to like really, really do this, do it justice. And so I got back into it. And then our son was born in March. Pandemic hit the U.S. Everything was shut down. At the time I was like bartending and coaching track at like the local high school or whatever, and that all just stopped. And then I was just at the crib, just like making music. And then in June, I got on TikTok and I started making content on there. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember like first, like, I think maybe Meg like tagged you in a video or something like that. And I checked you out and I was like, dang, like this dude is so skilled. And then just watching it as it gone, like, I don't think like I think you've been dope since the first time I listened to you, you know? I just think more people have recognized that, you know, along the time.
Yeah.
So, Vance, I'm sorry. You got a question right now? I'm not trying to.
I got all types of questions, man. So, like what you were describing is pretty much your process. Yeah. You write first, and then you get together and you find a beat for it, or do you go through and listen to beats, or what sparks ideas for you?
What I used to do was I used to just listen to beats that already were inspiring. And actually, if you like Passing Thoughts, a lot of those beats, you know, several of those beats are famous beats. Like I just like, but yeah, I would just write over beats that were really inspiring. And then I would either, at the time, I would either just try to get my hands on that beat or get a beat that was like it. Or I started producing, I think, maybe four or five of the songs on Passing Thoughts are like produced by me. But it's like that was, and then I would try to get something that felt similar and then lay it on that. Now, I've had to learn how to write songs from different starting points, just to be more consistent. I'd say a lot of my stuff now, it starts with, if I can, either set a vibe with my own beat that I make that feels like the emotion I want to convey or the story I want to tell, then I'll start there and then write. I usually don't start with just lyrics, usually. Sometimes I do, but I'd say for the most part, I just have to feel an emotion. So anything that I can do to feel an emotion, sometimes I need to listen to other artists and just feel something. Sometimes I need to think of a story or a memory or a moment, and I need to feel something. Sometimes I just need to listen to a beat, listen to some music, even stuff out of genre, like different genres other than rap. I just need to feel an emotion. And if I can feel an emotion, then I can write like anything, you know. If I can find the beat, sometimes it's a little bit hard, but especially with what I do now on TikTok, it's a lot of stuff that doesn't involve drums or anything. A lot of it's like I'm rapping over singers singing. So, but if I can find the rhythm and I can feel like an emotion, then I just go at that point.
That's good. That's good. You So what's the goal with your music? Is the goal with your music to make people feel something? Is it to gain fans? Is to make people feel an emotion?
Yeah. Just make people feel an emotion. I think that's honestly, I think that should be anybody's goal if you're making art. Well, I scratch that. If you're making art that you intend to put out into the world with any effort to like market that art, you need to make a connection with people. Either you're going to make them feel excited or happy or sad or afraid or angry, but you got to make them feel something. And you got to make them feel whatever you want to make them feel, you got to make them feel it really, really intensely. And that's how you create a fan. And then you nurture that fan by continuing to feed them that connection. I think that's like the empathy of art, if you will. Like you make something that makes a person feel a type of way, and then they go, dang, like I feel like understood, like I feel seen or heard. I feel like that person gets it, you know. And then and you may it's like you don't that may not even be true. They may even be interpreting your art in a completely different way than you ever meant for it to be interpreted, but whatever, like you put something out there that can make people feel some type of way, and then if you just aim it in the right spot, then the fan base just grows. And that took a while for me to learn, because I spent a lot of time trying to make stuff that like was technically good. And I would be like, oh, I need to do this. I need to mix it like this. My drums need to sound like this, or my voice needs to sound like this, or the beat and the, you know, you get real overwhelmed by that. But that's just insecurity. You're thinking about other artists, your peers, like critics. You're thinking about what they think about your music or your art at all. Don't think about that. You just need to make something that people can feel. And if you make something people can feel, it don't matter. Like even that, I mean, like even now, like I still, when I make stuff, I feel insecure about it, because there's a lot of things that I don't really feel like I'm like an expert at. Like I don't feel like I'm like an expert, like mix engineer, but I mix most of my own music. Like I don't feel like I'm an expert producer, but I produce most of my own music now. And I don't feel like I'm even like an expert marketer, but I market my own music for the most part. And, you know, I'm growing now. So a lot of people now are kind of reaching out. They want to help with different things. They're bringing in like expertise or money or resources and stuff. And that's cool. But I have to remember at the end of the day, like, I don't want to get too bogged down in that stuff, because I just like focus on making a connection with people. And then it just keeps growing.
I feel you. That raw music makes a big connection with people. Like, what I consider raw music is music mixed by somebody else, or like, you know, it's not industry standard, but it's still quality. And those raw tapes, those raw things can give you raw emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And there's some stuff like even 10 Toes Down, actually, it's funny because that's the original take that I did for it on like really, really crappy equipment. And like I told you, recorded that at the end of 2016. I dropped Passing Thoughts in 2018. So from that time, 2016, 2018, that was like, I went from knowing literally nothing about making music to knowing like a decent bit about making music. And I had way more equipment and I had way more skills and stuff. And I tried to re-record that song dozens of times. And it just didn't sound, it just wasn't hitting the same. It wasn't hitting the same way. I had to go with the original take. So, and sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, it's like when you in that emotion and you rapping and you spitting it, it's like you're in that emotion. So it's like it's hard to replicate that for a better take. When I'm listening to it, when many people listen to it, they don't even hear that. And that's what that's a really good message. Like, you know, progress over perfection. That's my thing. You know, said all the time, and so many people don't believe it. But like you just said, like all of it was like raw. You barely knew anything. The mixing, the producing. As I'm listening to it, I'm not hearing flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if there are
that's what's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, if there's technically any flaws, and it's like I'm hearing way past that to the story that you're telling. You know what I'm saying? And the emotion that I'm hearing coming from your voice. And so, yeah, you give off that emotion. And I think like even with like Planet, I think that's when like you really started like kicking off. And then Just Let Her Out Right. You know, it's like people feel that, and it's like so many things that people can relate to, and like you just tap. So did you just zoom in or something?
I don't know. I think I did. My bad.
No, you got. I told you I got ADD.
I was trying to move some stuff around, and then, like, I don't know. Yeah.
I was like, you zoomed in, but you didn't move. I don't remember what I was saying. Anyway, so I think I know a couple of your influences and your inspirations.
Yeah.
But if you want to like just let us know.
Yeah, okay, so obviously, I mean, J. Cole, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I got the Freeform Dreads, like, you know, lyrical rapper, like, I mean, that's an easy one. He's like my favorite artist out. now, and then probably, over the last 10 years or so. But before I started listening to J. Cole, huge Tupac fan. I listened to Tupac. I feel like Tupac, Eminem, 50, and Wayne, and Kanye probably got me through high school. That was the music I really grew up on. I started listening to J. Cole and Drake and Kendrick in college, or into high school and going into college and stuff. So I'd say for the most part, that's like the main influences. But then there are just a ton. I could sit here for hours just talking about artists that inspire me. Even if it's just artists that I'm just like, man, I just listened to one album or I just listened to a song. But yeah, I try to like learn from a lot of artists that are, established, famous, big artists that are a lot smaller than me too. Because what I found is that, even at the stage I'm at, like a lot more artists are like looking up to me, as an artist. And I think sometimes they're under the illusion that it has to do with the art, and the difference between like our platform, like our fan bases sometimes has to do with the art. And I'm like, sometimes it does, but like, honestly, it's more so just the marketing. Like fan base is going to be more directly related to like how effective is your marketing plan and how like beautiful is your art. So, I learn a lot still from people who have really, really small fan bases, and they haven't really figured out how to put together the marketing package the way they need, but they're making art that is like so good. And I try to learn from that. I get inspired by that a lot. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, to answer your question, everybody, but mainly, J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick, Pac, M50, Wayne, Kanye, those people, like, I think that's like a lot of what I do. I think about like music that I heard growing up and stuff, and even now.
Yeah, I feel like I heard like a couple of like Concrete Rose mentions like in throughout passing thoughts. Yeah.
I felt like 10 Toes Down was like a Tupac. I felt like that was a Tupac song. Like when I go back, I can't even rap like that no more. I feel like I rap more. I get a lot more J. Cole, Joyner comparisons now. And then, but like when I remember when I made 10 Toes Down, I was just like, Tupac would be proud of this song. I just kept saying that to myself.
Yeah. It also felt like kind of like manifesting. Like there were so many parts in there. It was like one, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. It was like, let me see. Dang, I don't remember. I guess I didn't write it down. But it was like a lot of of your lyrics. It was like, I'm doing this to show y'all that it can be done type stuff. Keep going, keep doing it. And that was in 2018.
That was probably the last track, Passing Thoughts. I think there was a lot of that energy in that. Was like the first half of that song was talking about, at the time I was 25, 26. So, and Tupac died at 25. And I was just kind of talking about like, I wonder what it would be like, if you were to stay alive, you had time to like grow and mature and stuff. Cause I felt like at that age, I was barely really starting to tap into, a lot, like my mentality on life was changing a lot. And then at the latter half of that song was really kind of speaking like more towards people who already were like, I felt like looking up to me. But it was for a different reason than just because, I hadn't really started. That was my first like musical project. So people weren't really looking up to me as like as a musician or anything, but I'd gained a lot of supporters or fans, if you will, as an athlete. And just like, meeting people and stuff just in my life. So I guess in a way I felt like I wanted to make something that felt honest, but also inspiring to those people.
Okay. I see that. So, I mean, he already asked you that one question. So What all? So you wear the hat of a marketer. You wear the hat of a producer. You wear the writer. You mix it for yourself. Like you kind of wear all those hats. Plus, I know when you like first starting, you were like super like active on TikTok. Like, how many TikToks do you think you would make a day?
Man, I think when I really started getting rolling on like the duets and stuff, I would try to make like 2 or 3 a day. But then there was a point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use TikTok to like build a community. And when I was doing that, that's when I was making like, I mean, there was a point where I was making like 20 to 30 TikToks a day, but most of them were just reply to videos or reply with videos. And then I would like do like 1 or 2 like music type ones. But then I wasn't growing as much. And I mean, this is a whole other conversation. We could talk about what you should be doing on which social media platform. But where I eventually came to, the place where I came to, I was like, I don't think TikTok is about community building. I think it's about going viral and then funneling your people to other places where you can nurture your fan base and build a strong community. So then I slowed down the rate of production and I focused on trying to make stuff that would go viral. And once I tapped into that, then I just rinsed and repeated it, and I just kept doing it. And even when I didn't want to do it anymore, because I felt like I was just like, dog, I'm like making the same video over and over again. I'm just like, I'm gonna keep doing it because it keeps going to new people, and I keep getting, I don't know, in a way, it's kind of like a challenge every time. It's like, how do I say the same stuff but different? And when I think about the stuff that when you hear about established artists and they're like, they have vaults of like thousands of songs. They're like, oh yeah, I made like 1,000 songs. I'm like, so if that's the case, then, if I need to make a couple thousand TikToks that may feel similar to you if you watch every single one, but each one of those is a chance to go to a new fan, new person who hadn't heard of me, then that's just what I got to do. So that's kind of where I am even now.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people don't think like that. They think like, oh, okay, I'm making like this same video or the same type of video, and the same people are seeing it. But like the way the algorithm is, like different people are seeing it every time. And maybe to give you a little peace of mind is like, to you it may feel like, kind of the same song, the same vibe, but it's different. Like each song's different. Each song pulls you into like maybe kind of the same emotion, but in a different way for a different reason. From my ears. So there's that. Vance.
Yeah.
So I got a question. Actually, I got a question. That's the point of this. So, what is your favorite part about making music? Is it the fans? Is it going to the studio? Is it writing? Is it you like picking out beats? What's your favorite part of making music?
When I first started, I would say my favorite part was just the writing. It was like therapy for me, and the writing is still like a really big part of like a really big part of like what's fun about it to me. But now I really had to adjust like kind of my mentality, and when I sat back and looked at it and I thought about it, especially after 2018, because I dropped that project in 2018, and I spent like several $1,000s just making the project. Like I was just like, which I was like, I told y'all I was like living in my car, so I was just like, I was using like half my paychecks on like music stuff, like equipment, and then once I put it out, I was just like, I paid that Rap Instagram page. Y'all, I don't know if y'all follow Rap. I paid them like $300 for a post. And I paid like a couple other pages. Like I was doing stuff like that. And so, and I didn't really get no fans from that. I mean, I got some fans from that, but like, I didn't really get any fans from that. And I was just like, dang, like I was looking at it, and people that listen to my music already, they were like, bro, like this is heavily slept on. Like this is so good. So I was just like, but it wasn't doing anything. So I was just like, man, it's really just the marketing. And when I thought about it that way, I was just like, I gotta love the marketing like I love the music. And that's really difficult at beginning. A lot of times artists are more introverted people. I feel like I'm like a pretty introverted person, but I really started training myself to try to get better at putting my stuff out there and being proud of it and being like, yo, I got a song dropping in 3 weeks. Like, y'all need to listen to it, you know, and like, and then, so I started getting better at that. And then I guess, really honestly, man, one of the funnest parts now is figuring out like the marketing aspect of it and how to move in that way. Because what I've learned now is that I used to have a really kind of negative feeling about it. I used to feel like that's what like those like sleazy salesmen do. They try to like push something on people and manipulate people into like getting their product or being a fan. And I'm like, but now what I'm like, really, it's just empathy. And it actually enhances my ability to write. Because I just think there's like people have, what problem are you solving? And it's hard to say that with music because it's not like a product and it's not like it's not like a how to fix your sink, you know, like that's easy. What problem are you solving? Somebody's sink is broken. This is how you fix it. So it's like, what's the purpose of like, you know, making this music? What problem are you solving? And I was just like, I think the problem that my music is solving is that people feel alone. They feel misunderstood. They feel unseen, unheard. They're going through very, very difficult things. And they feel like no one gets me, you know? And so I make things that solve that problem for them. I make things that make them feel like, oh, damn, no, that's exactly what I wanted to say. I just didn't know how to say it. So all that to say, that's marketing. Like in a nutshell, that's the core of my marketing plan. And the better I get at understanding how I can build my marketing plan from that place to connect with more people, the more excited I get or happy I get, because I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm connecting with people. I'm both making the art I want to make and actually like getting fans from it. And I'm not having to do anything like deceptive or like sleazy or like, I'm not having to like, you know, sell my soul to the Illuminati for it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, okay, cool. So that's exciting for me. I think that's one of the most exciting parts for me. I have a family now, so like I have children, and so you know the other exciting part is just I mean I'm making money from music. Like that's crazy. It's crazy to me even to say that, like that I'm making money from music, because like you spend so long just not making. You spend a long time just giving money to music, and then you're like, okay, like I'm like finally at the point where I'm not like completely just giving all my money to music, but now I'm like making money for music. So that's exciting because it's just, you know, like I want to feed my family, you know, so that, I guess that part, but I still have a lot of joy. There's still a lot of joy in just the process of writing and putting together a song. And the first time you finish a song, or I guess not the first time you finish the song, but once you finish the song and then you just press play and you just listen to the whole thing, that still hit, man. That feeling still hit.
And it's good you're there, because a lot of artists, they do that and they press play and they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't feel it. And I think that's where the disconnect is, you know what I'm saying? If you don't feel it, nobody else is going to feel it resonating from you.
Yeah. And that's, man, I still got songs I feel like you got like 100, 200 streams or something, like maybe not that low now at this point, but like songs that aren't streamed very much, that I'll be listening to that song, I'll be like, I don't care what nobody says.
Exactly.
This hit. Like,
I don't care if y'all don't like it. I like it and I'm listening.
Yeah, and then I have one, and then I do have one song. I will say this: I have one song to my name, and my whole discography released is ever since I was a youth. And I mean, some people do like it. I will, but dog, when I made that song, I was really trying. I was trying to do something that I felt like I needed to do in order to be like good at rapping. But I don't really like that song. That's the only song I've ever made that I really just don't. When I listen to it, I'll be like, It has a part in there that I like. It has like a part of the last verse. And I was like, oh, okay, no, that's cool. That's the only way I'll listen. When I turn that song on, I'll skip like 2 minutes into it, listen to that part, and I'll be like, all right, next track.
Yeah. that is a different. There's a question from somebody in here. It says, any advice for, can you see it on the screen or can I only see it?
No, I can see it.
I can see the questions now, but I've been trying not to pay attention to them.
Well, this was like a specific Q&A. It's like, any advice for a creative that has people close to them that doubt what you can do?
Oh, yeah. You gotta, I mean, it depends on how extreme the advice is. I feel like if I was Gary Vee, I would just be like, fuck those people. I'm Gary sorry. Can I cuss?
Yeah, you good. Yeah, you good.
But I would say, okay, like if you're a creative and you got people around you who don't really support you or believe in you like that, that's really, really normal. And the first thing I would say is just don't take that personally, because that is more about them than it is about you. That really doesn't have anything to do with you or your art. That has to do with their own issues, trauma, worldview, belief. That's not about you at all. Keep creating. And I think that every creative needs to develop their own like system of boundaries on who they feel safe sharing their art with. And I would find people that you feel safe sharing your art with and share it with those people. And don't try to share it with the people who don't like it. And actually, really, if you want to get to the principle, one of the core things I found out about marketing, I was just like, one of the most important things about marketing is don't try to sell your product to people who don't want it. Like, it's not, that's when people start having to engage in those like duplicitous type of like deceptive marketing tactics, because they want to sell something to somebody who doesn't really want it, right? And they try to find creative ways to trick you into thinking that you want it, and then when you get it, then you like, oh, I think I got what I want, and you dip out, and then they're like, no, I hate this, right? You don't want that. You need to find the people who they're like, I tell people, it's actually funny. I made a video right before that Cameron Good video blew up to like 13 million on TikTok. I made a video right before that, and I said, there are a billion people on the app, right, on TikTok. I was like, there are a billion people on the app. There are literally millions. There are millions of people who want to like hear your music. You just haven't met them yet. So you just have to find those people. Like, there are literally, I just think like, even now, I just think there are millions of people out there who are my fans. They just haven't met me yet. And so in that way, I don't need to focus on like my family or friends. That hurt me at first. When I first started making music, I felt like, why don't all these people who are like my friends, like, why aren't they like supporting my music? But I'm like, maybe they just don't like it. And like, they don't have to like it, you know. I don't like, if I'm your friend and you like work at Subway, that, and I go to Burger King, that's like, it doesn't mean that I don't like you. It just means maybe I just don't like Subway. Like, you know what I mean? And so instead of, you know, it's like, you don't need to try to market your music to people who, or your art at all, to people who don't want it. That, let those people have their opinion, preference. You can have a relationship with them outside of that. And then you need to take your art and just think, who is the person who needs this? Who is the person who this art solves a problem for them? Who when they see it, when they hear it or interact with it, they're going to be like, oh, I needed that. I'm so glad I saw that. That hit. That made me feel something. Find that person. And then when you find them, then psychographically, right, their best friend is going to be like them. Then find their best friend. Then find their best friend. And then find and just move out from there. People make the mistake of starting like way too far away from their target customer or target listener or audience or fan. You need to find that person and then just slowly move out. Slowly. And then it'll start growing on its own.
Dang, I think you got us like silent for a little bit, and then my dad just came in here too. But dang, there was something other than that. So a lot of people that like do go viral on TikTok, it doesn't translate to their streams on Spotify. So would you say that part of your marketing is what gets them to Spotify? It's like when the people you're selling to are the people, thank you, are the people that like actually want it. And so when they go there, that's what they want. And then more, because you already have that category, you already have the discography of like a couple of songs in there, you know?
The problem with TikTok, the good thing about TikTok is you reach new people every time you post. The bad thing about TikTok is you reach new people every time you post. So if you're trying to reach the person that you reached yesterday, that's very difficult to do. You can't really do it on purpose. And so the only way to kind of solve that problem is you have to go viral a lot. You can't go viral once and expect that's going to change everything for you. Specifically my fan base, right? Like you can look in the comments, you can look at the people what my music is about and what the people who listen to my music. The people who listen to my music have been hurt. They've been traumatized, right? They've been abandoned. They've been betrayed. These people have low trust. And I know that because I am one of these people. This is why I make this type of music, right? So if you need someone to trust you, then you need to be there for them consistently, long period of time. You don't just show up one time, make a big thing of like, oh, I'm this and this, and expect that they would then be like, oh, cool, I'll go wherever you want me to go, you know? So that's kind of what happens sometimes when people go viral once or people go hard for like a week at a time or like a few days and then they like disappear, right? And they don't post for like months or they don't come back with that same type of content or energy or emotion again for a long time. So where I didn't start, the first time I went viral, it didn't translate to streams, or the second time or the third time. But like once I had been consistently hitting the same target for like months, and then eventually now at this point, like I've been hitting the same target for well over a year. Well, now people are like, they're sold on it. There are people who are like, I've been watching you grow on TikTok for a year and a half, and I've watched all of the videos, and it's just it's good. Like they like it every time, and so that person is gonna be like a real fan. They're gonna go stream your songs. If I decided tomorrow I wanted to start selling merch, they would be the person trying to buy merch. If I wanted to go and do a concert in their hometown, they would be the person showing up. And they're going to be the person that's going to tell their best friend about you. And so then they're going to be doing your marketing for you. So consistency, I guess, at that point is just getting people converting somebody who just like heard you for the first time into somebody who's actually going to like, it's just consistency, And now at this point, when people find my stuff now, then they go back and they listen to everything else. And then they're like, oh, they feel like they've been a part of the journey with me. And that's what happened with me with like J. Cole. Like when I first heard J. Cole, I was just like, what? I need to hear more. And then I went back and I was just like, has someone been hiding this guy from like how have I not heard these songs? And so then I was like, oh no, I got I felt like it make you the type where like where you be acting like you're like a diehard fan, really just started listening to the person like that week. You like, oh yeah, I'm waiting for that next J. Cole album. I've been listening to J. Cole for a minute now, man. It's Friday. I've been listening since Tuesday. Like, yeah.
I'm a 5 day long fan. I'll tell you what. I know every song that's on this one song.
Every song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It'd be like that. So I seen like a lot of comments in here, like from like Morocco or like Russia, or like, have you looked at your like Spotify? Like where are you mainly popping off at? Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that's crazy about TikTok is it gets you international, like worldwide. Like, obviously the U.S. is my biggest country. I think after the U.S., it's either like United Kingdom or Australia. that makes sense just because like the size of the countries, right? But I will say this, like per capita, and this isn't really a metric that you like have access to with like the data that we have, but just based on kind of like who interacts with me, who I see messaging me and like commenting on my stuff, I have a lot of like support in like Indonesia, the Philippines. That video that went the first one that went super viral on my TikTok, that Cameron Good video, Talking to the Moon, has 13 million views. I think 70% of those people are from the Philippines.
Wow.
That's wild to me. I was just like, what about like all the comments are in like a different language. I was like clicking translate and then trying to like, you know, and so then, you know, I started doing duets with this artist Alsa on TikTok. She has like 10 million followers, and she's like, you know, she's a big time musician, international. I think she's either from the Philippines or Indonesia. I have a lot of like fan base there, and so then I started doing duets like with some of the music that she would post, and they would go big like every time. And so yeah, it's, I don't know, it's crazy getting messages or support from people that are like on the other side of the world. But I think it speaks to something. I mean, you know, I'm making music about like love and heartbreak. It's just like kind of like everybody goes through that.
Yeah, it's like and timeless also.
Yeah. So it's cool. When I still, you know, I still make, even though I haven't like released a song like this in a minute, but I still make music that is a little bit more specific, like social issues and like race and stuff like that. That's a little bit more of an American issue, like in the context in which I like write about. So that stuff won't get as much reach, but it still connects with people. It's just different, you know. I think at a level, it's hard because, you know, you start really thinking about the numbers and you're like, I want to make the stuff that like is going to get the most streams and the most plays. And I think that that's important as you're growing as an artist. But I'm looking forward to being able to like get to the point where I don't feel as much pressure to keep having to make the things that keep me growing. And then I can just make all kinds of stuff and not worry about the streams as much, not worry about the numbers as much, and just like connect with like just specific little groups that I want to.
Okay. But, so like, where do you see yourself in your musical journey in 5 years? And, you know, even with your family too, like in 5 years, where's Verum?
I don't know, man. I don't even really think that far ahead, to be honest. I think I think I maybe think ahead like a year. Because I don't know, in 5 years, like I don't even know like what I'll be doing in 5 years. Like I mean, I assume I'd still be doing music, and I assume that the fan base would be much larger, but I can't say for sure. And also, the direction that I'm going with it, doing this the way that I'm doing it, like with TikTok and social media and stuff, it feels, it's not completely uncharted. Like there are artists that have done it, but not really the exact way that I'm going about it. And so I guess my long-term goal, my short long-term goal is just that that my fan base will grow large enough that the income that I get from like just streams and views on content that I've already made will be enough to take care of any financial need that my family has. And I think at that point, I think then the game kind of changes, and then it's like just trying to figure out what, you know, between me and Megan, what we'd want to do moving forward to have impact or add meaning to our lives and our children's lives. You know, I still got a lot of family that is not, you know, living super comfortably. So I'd love to be able to do something about that. There's a lot of social issues that are like important to me. I'd love to be able to do something about that. But you can't do any of that stuff without power. And you know, Western society, a lot of power is centered around money and ability to influence. So the followers, my fan base grows. I make things that resonate with people. I'm able to, you know, speak my truth into them. They support me in ways that like actually tangibly start to matter to me, like financially. So that helps me a lot. And as all that grows, I think, you know, who knows, I'll be able to have all types of impact, I guess. But so yeah, I would like to do that, but just want to take it step by step. Like focus on right now. I gotta grow the fan base and feed my family. And then after that, we'll see.
Okay, I see. As part of your growing your fan base, do you see yourself like doing any shows or potentially doing any tours like in the next year or so?
Yeah, depending on how, I mean, you know, hopefully everything with COVID gets like much safer, I guess. Our family's been like really conservative on that. We've been like, I mean, I've literally basically feel like I've just been in the house for a year and a half. Like, so like even if the opportunity, if somebody came and was like, you could do the Super Bowl tomorrow, I wouldn't do it right now. That's where we're at right now. That's not something I'm just like we haven't been doing any big super like gatherings like that yet. But as things clear up, I'm definitely down to do that. I don't want to be living my life on a tour bus. I have children. I want to watch them grow up and play around with them and stuff. But definitely I'm down to do shows and stuff. It's weird because I've never done a show. Never done a show, like at all. I'm excited for it and stuff, but it's just weird because all my growth has been digital, like via social media and stuff. I mean, I've really only even rapped in person for like, I don't know, handfuls of people here and there, like my family or friends, or that when I was working at like grocery store or something, I like rap for some of my coworkers every once in a while on like lunch breaks. But like, yeah, like I don't know. So it'd be cool to like get to that world and then start building connections that way. I think those are like really powerful connections, like in-person connections and stuff. And I think that I'm getting to the point where it's gonna probably start being, you know, just as important to build those like real life connections as it is to do what I'm doing now, which is making connections through the content that I'm making. But yeah, there's no rush for it for me. At least right now, because I think the trap that a lot of other artists too get into is like the show money is good, right? Like because you go and you perform and then you get your appearance fee, and that a lot of artists eat off of that. But I'm really focused on the passive income side, and that's streaming money. That's the royalty money, the streaming, the publishing, and then I'm big on TikTok. I get I get a little bit from the creator fund over there. I'm growing on Instagram. I'll probably be monetizing that soon. I'm growing on YouTube. I'm monetizing that. The small amounts, and then those are and I'm still not even on all the platforms yet. Like I haven't even taken this show to Facebook yet, because I'm just trying to focus on where I'm at. But eventually it'll grow, and then all that income is like a lot more passive and dependable. And then I don't have to feel like I need to live my life on the road. If my kid has like a basketball game or something, I don't need to be like, I need to go perform or else we can't pay these bills. Like, I don't want it to be like that. Yeah. Then I might as well work at, down the street at, at the fast food place or whatever, if that's how it's going to be.
Dude, that says a lot about you, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people be like, kids, you know what? Let me go perform. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you can't get those moments back. You know, different exactly. Stepping stones. Because like you have a kid, he's 2, right? Or
he's finna turn 2. He's 18 months now.
Yeah, so like just a lot of different things that could happen in those formative years, and like you want to be there, especially as the dad. You know, I love that. But not to go like too much into that. I did have another question for you, and I'm trying to wrap it up because I'm not trying to stay on here forever. But I mean, I love hearing you speak. I love hearing what's going on in your mind. Even outside the raps. So if a record label come up to you and was like, "Hey, I want to give you this deal," like, are you like team label or team independent?
So since in the last few months, I've been reached out by some labels. Nothing like huge, nothing like nothing that will like make the news or anything. But I think where I'm at right now is that I don't absolutely hate the idea of a label, but the current structure of how the labels structure deals with artists and like market music, it just doesn't really vibe with what I'm doing right now. And I don't have a strong enough like fan base yet to be able to have enough leverage to tell them like, no, the deal would have to be this way. Because they have so many resources and connections and stuff. And that's what I'm, in a way, that's the thing, like I'm lacking. That's why I like grow. I know like right now, it's weird to say like growing slow. I know right now I'm growing fast, but like if you compare me to other artists that are like right above where I'm at, I'm still not growing like super, super fast. And they're growing faster because they're putting money behind it. I have a $0 marketing budget. I don't spend money on marketing. Like I literally don't. And I did. It's funny, guys. Like I told you, like in 2018, I was spending a little bit of money here and there on some like social media stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing. And now that I know what I'm doing, the stuff that is the most valuable for my marketing plan is free. It's just I'm making content that people can connect with. Like I don't need the like that. That is the thing that a lot of people are paying for, and I'm doing that for free already. But the connections, the knowledge of the business, and then just the multiplicity of having other people work for you while you're doing something else or focusing on making the music or even just living life. I don't have that. So the machine's only going to grow as much as the work that I put into it. And so in that way, I think that having like a label or whatever could be beneficial to me. But right now where I'm at, I think that I don't think it's something that I'm like immediately pursuing at the moment. I want to grow the fan base a little bit more. When you go into these conversations with these people, you're talking to a bunch of suits. They're looking at the trial. To undersell you, right? Like to be like, well, you're only worth this much, so we're gonna give you this much. And I'm just like, the only way that you can, I guess, have more power in those situations, you gotta be coming in with a business that's already like really popping, and come from a position of strength where you're like, I mean, I really don't need y'all. And I mean, like, I don't want to sound like super cocky, but I do kind of feel like that. I'm like, I really don't need y'all. Y'all could speed up the process a lot for me. And that's very tempting because I do want to, like I said, I want to make this like a financially positive thing, feed my kids, like, get our life in order, like financially, and then be able to help people around me too. But I got to make good long-term decisions, and doing that to give up your masters for like 7 to 15 years. Doing that to sign up for deals that you may not recoup for years. That's tough because you're not going to see royalties until you recoup those deals. And a lot of times when they're signing you so you can make a project in the future that hopefully resonates with people, and hopefully you can all make a lot of money from it. And to me, honestly, that's not even how I make music. Like, I don't make songs and then try to bring them to TikTok and hope people like them. I see artists do that, and I'm not knocking it but I think that model is less effective on TikTok, and that's where I'm making the most of my music. What I do is I make tiny snippets, like little 10, 15, 20-second snippets. And then I show them to TikTok and I test them out and they tell me if it's good or not. And then eventually one of them gonna hit and go viral. And then I'm gonna make that a full song. And so then I know that's gonna go. And so the model that a lot of the like the labels come from is they're just like, oh, well, we'll connect you with such and such artists and such, and they're spending all this money on like these features, and you get in the studio with who is such and such, and this mix engineer and this producer, and we're gonna put all this money into making this beautiful piece of art, and then people will have to love it. And I'm like, people don't care about how much you spent on the song. They don't care about who produced it, who wrote. They don't care about none of that. Like they just does it when you play it, can they feel the shit? And so so with what I do now, I think that, I don't know, I guess I think that the way, honestly, just the method that they would try to like box me into, I think it would really constrict me from being able to approach my creative process and my interactive process with my fans. It would constrict me and not allow me to do that the way that I want to do it. And I would be paying for it. Like I would literally giving up something. Yeah. Like the ownership of my masters, the use of like my image, and then exclusivity to like work with other people, brands or deals. I would be giving up a lot in order to get something that I don't necessarily think I really, really want. So, but I have heard of just, through talking to some people that there are artists now that, especially artists that are blowing up on TikTok and who are able to leverage some pretty like impressive deals with major labels that like a lot of other artists like aren't really able to, and they don't get as much news or hype because they're low advance deals. They, the labels aren't fooling us with this advance game no more, dog. Like they aren't fooling us with we gonna sign you for $3 million. Like I'm just like, no, I don't want that. Sign me for $0 and help me recoup this deal faster so I can see some income. Like I don't want your $3 million loan. Like I don't. That's not what I want. So, but anyway, that number means a lot, to fans, and it's a good marketing number. So a lot of people get really, really, they're like, oh, so-and-so signed for this much, and I'm like, dog, good luck. They're gonna be paying that for years, Hopefully the next project they drop is a hit, but
if not, like
we don't know, and so yeah, I don't know. To answer your question, I think at the moment, not right now, but maybe in the future. But I think the terms of like the deal and stuff would have to be very, very different from what it usually is. And I think the only way I would be able to swing something like that is I'd have to be bringing in a big fan base and a very, very like lucrative business already. That's the only way.
Yeah. Got your head on right. Bands, any last questions for you?
No, man. You just ran through them. You was giving me real, like I need, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
No problem, dog. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive, and you know what I'm saying. Love your music. I'm gonna check more of it out.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Thank you, man.
Any question you got for us? Anything you want to shout out to whoever's gonna watch this in the future or now?
Man, shout out to Meg, Cooking by Meg. That's Bae. She holds it down. She's downstairs playing with our son right now. He probably going crazy. I don't know. Maybe actually it's kind of quiet in the house. She may have put him down for a nap. So I better.
Is it nap time, Meg?
I don't know. We see. But I don't know, man. Shout out to all y'all listening to my music. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. So.
Of course, man. I appreciate you hopping on with us, letting us get inside your mind and just really just spitting some knowledge right here, really. So appreciate you.
I hope it helps. You know.
Yeah,
it's nap time.
It's nap time.
We gotta keep the volume down.
Yeah, you gotta be quiet. Don't want to wake them up, especially at nap time. All right. Well. All right. Well, we signing off, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Bands, for hopping on. And y'all have a good day. Meg, you have a good day. To everybody that's in here, y'all have a good day. Y'all stay blessed. Stay humble. Much love.
Much love to you. Peace.
All right.